In today's lesson, I am going to teach you phrases that you can use when making suggestions to other people. Now, when it comes to making a suggestion, it is when you're choosing not to command someone to do something. Instead of telling someone, sit down, shut up, you give them a suggestion. Okay. And so I am going to give you several English phrases that you can use so you can talk to people in a manner where they will receive you and respect you instead of just you coming down on them and commanding them to do something. So the first obvious one is I suggest. I suggest that you turn the lights off instead of leaving them on. Or you might say, I suggest that we leave at 6 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. You wouldn't want to tell someone, we need to leave at 6. Just make a suggestion. It may be better. Or I suggest that we leave early so we don't get caught in traffic. Another phrase that you can use, and I left my cell phone on here. Let me turn this off. Okay, another phrase that you can use is, can you take into consideration? Can you take into consideration that we have already spent $500? Can you take into consideration that I have been up since 3 o'clock this morning? So this is another way that you can make a suggestion to someone instead of commanding them to do a particular thing. Another phrase that you could use is we could. We could go by my mother's house instead of my father's house. We could have Thanksgiving dinner at 3 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. We could. Okay. We could go on vacation in July instead of January. We could. Another phrase is, would you like to? Would you like to try this chocolate ice cream instead? Or you might say, would you like to go out with me and my friend tonight? Would you like to? All right, try this one. Does it matter? Does it matter? Does it matter if I sit here close to you instead of over there? Does it matter if I call you before you get off work instead of after you get off work? You understand now? Does it matter? And so you're giving them an opportunity to say yes or no instead of you just telling them something. Now, another phrase you could use is, what would you say if? What would you say if I brought my dog to your house? Or what would you say if I sent you a picture through my Instagram channel instead of texting the picture to you? You see, I'm suggesting that you do one thing instead of the other. Another phrase that you could use is, couldn't we go see this movie instead of that movie? Couldn't we watch the game instead of playing cards? couldn't we eat spaghetti instead of hamburgers? So spaghetti is a very popular dish here in the United States, and it's noodles with a sauce on top that is primarily made of tomatoes. And spaghetti is a very easy dish to make, and you can make it with meat or without meat. So I usually put cheese on top of my spaghetti. That's a popular dish here in the United States that families usually eat. What is a popular dish that families eat in your country? I want you to put that in the description and describe to me what it is. Let me know what type of vegetable or meat it is. And that can be something that we show also on Instagram. Maybe one of your meals, you can send it to me in a direct message and I can show our subscribers here on the video that's coming up. Couldn't we do that? All right, here's another phrase. Why don't we? Why don't we take an airplane instead of driving? Why don't we? Why don't we get strawberries instead of oranges? So I'm making a suggestion instead of just saying, I'm not getting any of that. I'm getting strawberries. But you just make a suggestion. Why don't we do this time and we'll do what you desire next time? Okay, another phrase that you can use is, I hope we don't. I hope we don't. You know, I hope we don't go to your mother's house. You know, I hope we don't have to watch this entire baseball game. Okay. So baseball here in the United States is usually about a 3-hour long game. They have recently tried to cut down some of the time or shorten the game by adding a pitching clock. And so I just saw that a few weeks ago. So I am excited to see how that goes. Is baseball in your country? I know baseball is not in every country, but let me know in the comments section, is baseball in your country? And if not, what is the popular sport in your country? So we have two great talking topics that I can use on my vlog channel. One, a family meal, and two, sports or baseball. How about is another phrase that you can use for a suggestion. How about? Let me see. How about you wear the red shirt instead of the blue shirt? Or how about you wear the black tie instead of the green tie? So you're making another suggestion. What about? Now, this is the one that I use pretty frequently. What about? What about vanilla ice cream instead of a vanilla sundae? So ice cream is a popular dessert here in the United States, and a sundae is ice cream with usually toppings like fudge, peanuts, strawberries, candy toppings. And sometimes sundaes are too sweet for me, but I prefer just regular ice cream. Okay. And so how can I describe ice cream? It's It's milk with sugar and other additives that make it taste really good. Now, some people make ice cream homemade, and that's a process that I'm not willing to do. I'll just go to the store and buy my ice cream. Okay, another phrase that you can use to offer a suggestion is it might be better. It might be better if we take the highway instead of the back roads. Now, here in this country, and in most countries, unless it's like a third world country, you have an interstate or what we call an expressway or a highway, and it's the main highway or the main road that you would use to take between cities. The back roads are usually country roads, county and state roads that go usually through the woods or a dirt road. And so you would say it might be better to go on the interstate because you would usually get there quicker because you can drive faster. Okay. It might be better to fly coach instead of first class. And some people may disagree with that. If you've ever taken an airplane, then you know first class costs more, usually about $1,000 more with the way prices are now. And so coach is usually cheaper, but some people just prefer first class. I've never flown first class before. I just prefer to spend my money on something else, but I hope to do it one day. I think. Now, this is another phrase that I use to offer a suggestion. I think. I think we should do this. I think it would be better. So you can put them together. I think you should call the person instead of sending them an email. Or I think you should get your hair done like you did last time. I think. Now, this is another one. We might as well. We might as well leave now because if we don't, we won't leave at all. We might as well. Okay. We might as well subscribe. You might as well leave a like. Okay. Now, that would be something I could say instead of saying like, subscribe, and comment. You might as well leave me a like because I know you learned something. We might as well. Now, I'll be answering the chat momentarily. It's hard for me to type at the same time. I prefer to type instead of just talking. But one day I'll switch it up and I'll just talk through the live stream. So you might as well just leave a comment. All right. Let's think about this first. Now, this is a great one. Let's think about this first. Before we buy this car, let's think about this first. Or let's think about this first before we have children. Boy, raising children is a great responsibility and it costs a lot of money. Okay. And so before you have children, you might want to say, let's think about this first. All right. That's going to do it for today's lesson. I think I've given you almost 15 different phrases that you can use when making a suggestion. Okay. So instead of having a quiz today, we have 2 assignments. Let's not forget. Okay. Is baseball popular in your country? Leave me a comment about that. If not, let me know the sport. And what is a meal that families usually eat that's easy to prepare? Let me know. Describe that meal. And if you like, send me a picture of it in the direct message of my Instagram, and you can get my Instagram down in the description of today's video. Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. This is a short one. I usually go longer, but I needed to make this week's lessons a little bit shorter because I have a lot of things on my schedule. So I hope you join me on my next one, and thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed today's lesson, be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also, enjoy